Okay, so this is just going to be a video on basically the drawings that I've done, and if you want to look at them again, they're the ones on my Instagram and the ones in the magazine. So, let's start off with this first drawing. It's a picture of Sister Fried from Dark Souls 3, which is one of my more liked games. And I chose to draw her because I thought she was very cool. Her design is very unique, and the fight was very memorable. Despite how it may look, this drawing actually took me the most time out of any of the other ones, really, in my entire repertoire, and I was really proud of it when it was finished. There's actually another drawing I did before it, and but I don't have that with me now. I think I threw it out or something. But some notable things. I like her, as I said before, I like her nun design with the scythes and stuff. I thought her attacks in the game were very flashy and interesting. And if you're wondering why the face is grayed out, I was never really very good at drawing faces. But I'm really trying to improve on that now. Okay, so for the next one, this is just a watercolor book that my mom gave me. No. Oh yeah, it's on the next page. Like that. Okay, this is a picture of Link from Breath of the Wild. It's my first attempt at his face, and it was pretty bad. Next drawing. No, wrong way. Okay, here's a drawing of Pikachu. I decided to go for something a bit simpler than a face, even if it was a cartoony-ish, kind of anime-esque face. So I decided to do Pikachu from Pokemon. And this is a speed draw. I got this done less than an hour. And I was pretty proud of it when it was finished. But there are a couple of weaknesses, but I thought it was pretty good for the time that I took to do it. Okay, so for the next one, we have Artorias, which is just he's basically another Dark Souls boss, which, if you couldn't tell, I really like Dark Souls. But anyway, I don't think it's my best work. I mean, his helmet isn't very good, and his clothes, he doesn't really look like a person, and he has arm. But other than that, I tried to go for the pose, but the pose didn't really work, which was kind of sad. Not really sad, but it's just kind of disappointing. I like how I got the whole the feather or whatever on top of the hat, and I thought I did the great sword justice. But other than that, it wasn't a very good drawing in my opinion. Now this one, I think it's it could be considered my magnum opus. I think it's one of my better ones. Anyway, it's Vike from the Elden Ring cover art, which is basically just another Dark Souls game. As you can see, I have a poster of Elden Ring, right there. Anyway, that's Vike on the poster. But back to the drawings. I liked Elden Ring. I basically just beat it. I think I basically beaten it. I've beaten all the bosses except for Melania. I haven't really put in the time to fight her yet. But anyway, I thought it was a really cool design. I sort of like how the sword was plunging into the ground. And I thought I did a really good job, with the hand, on his behind him. I thought that was a nice touch, and I liked how I did sort of the ground to give it more of a solid texture. Okay, wrong way again, but okay. This is Kyo from, well, again, one of the worst ones. His legs kind of look really bad, but it's Kyo from the King of Fighters. And I tried to get him doing his a super move pose, but that didn't really work out. But anyway, it was more of just an experiment with drawing people in general, because I usually with Vike, I spent a really long time drawing his helmet, and with Fried, I spent just a really long time drawing her figure and her shape, and sort of the whatever that dress or whatever that the nuns wear. That just sort of came with time, and that was one of the easier parts. But this, like, his legs don't look very good. Like, I don't even know what those shoes are. But his hands look okay. That arm is, like, a lot bigger than that arm. I mean, a lot smaller than that arm. There's a couple of weaknesses, but, like, I was pretty into KOF then, so I thought Kyo was a cool character. So, I decided to draw him. Even if it didn't turn out the best, it was still a good learning experience. Okay, this is Sir Alon. He's like this samurai guy from, yet again, another Dark Souls. Probably my favorite one is the second one. As you can see, I have a decent amount of time in it. But I think he was a really cool boss. His soundtrack is, like, actually amazing. And everything about that fight is cool. He has, like, this nice polished floor. And then he's, like... man, I just love that boss fight. Everything was, like, perfect about it. Anyway, that was sort of, like, the high point of the Dark Souls 2 experience. So I decided to encapsulate that. And as you can see, I got the floor in. Even though it is less squeaky clean than it is in the game, I thought it was still pretty good. I got his general concept in. He is a bit, like, wide compared to how tall he is. And then, like, you can see his sword does, like, this fire effect. Anyway, he can, like, stab you with this grab attack. And then after he stabs you with a grab attack, and if it hits, the sword gets this cool fiery effect. Which I thought was, again, cool, so I made it. The only thing I could have added is, like, a wall in the background. But that's really it. Okay. And for the next one, yes. Mew, which is a Pokemon. I used to be into Pokemon. My interest in it has sort of fallen off, though. Mew is a decent... I thought this was more of a speed draw. I did this in, like, one morning. I thought this Mew looks a lot better than my Pikachu. It has a bit more perspective to it. Except I could have done the arms a bit better. But I like how I did, like, the feet. I basically just copy a picture online for most of these. There's not that much improvisation because I'm not really good enough to do that yet, but I'm really looking forward to start doing that. Other than that, that was a pretty easy drawing. Most Pokemon are just easy because, like, it's just shapes. There's no real, like, shading or detail that you have to do, except for, like, some of the legendaries, which I haven't done that. And I've basically just chosen Pokemon who I like the designs of and have, like, semi-easy shapes to do. That's it for that book. This was sort of like a thing that Mom had left over, so she gave it to me. It's like a watercolor book. This one's just another one that I had lying around. So I started that off with Grovyle, who is another Pokemon, and I believe is my best attempt at drawing a Pokemon, except for that, like, mishap with the line back there. I think it's a really solid drawing. I got, like, the actual shading. It looks nice. I got the eye down. And I think it just looks like Grovyle. Like, I sent a half-finished picture to my friend and was like, oh yeah, who's this? And they said, oh, Grovyle. So I think it was probably my best Pokemon so far. And it didn't really take that long to do. This is Rorschach from Watchmen. I did my extended essay on Watchmen, so I thought that Rorschach would be a good thing to draw. And it was during there was a hurricane in my in the town and in the city. So it was during the hurricane, and I just decided, hey, I haven't drawn anything, and I decided, because I was like, oh, I don't have any guides, but then I just picked up my copy of Watchmen, found a good frame that I liked of him, and then started drawing him. And I thought it didn't take very long either. Like, I was going at it, but because his face is basically just masked by, well, his mask. But anyway, I did some shading. It was more of a quick thing to do, but I think it's definitely one of my better looking ones. And then we have my next one, which is half finished, but it's a picture of Kunimitsu, which is like the character that I made in Tekken, which is just like a fighting game. I have like, I think 70-ish hours in it, and I think it's really fun. And I think Kunimitsu, like, she's a ninja, if you can probably tell by like the fox mask and stuff. But anyway, she has like these cool stances and stuff that she can go into. And anyway, I just thought, oh, I I wanted to get to practice drawing both faces and like women and hair and that type of stuff. So I just decided, hey, let's draw Kunimitsu, and I thought she was really good. And probably I haven't even finished it. It's looking pretty nice. Like the mouth was hard to draw, and the mask was surprisingly easy. I still have a bit to tighten up there, like with the that part. But other than that, it was pretty good. And then I have like the hairdo and like the torso. But other than that, yeah. And for the next drawing, I don't know what I'll do. I may do like another Tekken character, maybe like Jin. There's like basically anything from like those games. Or like a novel or something that I've read. But I really don't know what to do after this, because Kuni was sort of like a last thing. I think I have a list of it on my, oh yeah, maybe another KOF character. Maybe like Shermie. But, I don't know. So, if you were wondering, KOF stands for King of Fighters. So, anyway, that's probably all that for that video, and thanks for watching, and bye.